Okay, it's 6:30. I call to order the Charter Township Board of Trustees regular meeting, Wednesday, April 14th, 2021. Would we all please rise and pay respects to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was a whole lot easier than on Zoom. Okay, get an approval of the agenda, please.
Got to note the roll first.
Noting of the roll, please, thank you.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with removal of item 10AI.
One second.
Okay, it's moved by Treasurer Ferrari, seconded by Trustee Nold. We can do all in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Hearing none. We'll move on to approval of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
One second.
Motion by Treasurer Ferrari, seconded by Trustee Nold. Roll call, please.
Trustee Noel.
Yeah.
Trustee Charles.
Yeah.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes, and Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Item 6, public comment on items not on the agenda. Any comment from the public? Seeing none. Move on to item 7, fire department. Item A, hiring of assistant chief. Chief Schultz?
Evening, board members. Welcome back. It's been a long year. Zoom, I mean, you look a lot different in live person, Rod, than you do on Zoom, so. I think that's a compliment. Looking sharp there tonight.
Not meant.
All right. As you all know, Assistant Chief Dave Creech retired at the end of the year. And we went out we advertised, we hired a company to help us do the entire interview process. They also were the ones that got the applications in, did the pre-screening on them, everything, set the interviews up, set the whole process up, and ended with a final day here of an assessment center and interviews and everything. And at the end of the day, we tallied everything up. The next day, Supervisor Curtis, myself, and Trustee Payne met via phone and discussed the results of everything, and it was our recommendation that we offer the position to Matt Majestic. And we talked to him on the phone that day, and he's actually in the neighborhood, so he swung by, we discussed everything, made the offer to him, and he accepted our offer that day. So we've included, the contract is included in the board packet, you've all got that in front of you, and that is with my recommendation that we offer him the position and go ahead and hire him.
Introduce your candidate.
In a second.
Okay.
And with that, I would like to bring him up. Board members, this is Matt Majestic. Good evening.
Good evening.
Don Nold on the end, Joe Ferrari, treasurer, Jack Curtis, supervisor, Rod Charles, trustee, and Curtis Wright, our township clerk, and Susan, deputy clerk.
I move to approve the employment agreement between Matthew Majestic and the Charter Township of Oxford to be employed as the full-time assistant chief of the Oxford Fire Department as presented. Further, Fire Chief Peter Schultz and Supervisor Jack Curtis authorized to sign the employment agreement between Matthew Majestic and the Charter Township of Oxford.
One second.
Okay, we have a motion that was moved by Treasurer Ferrari, seconded by Trustee Noel. Are there any questions before we vote? I just have two. One, what is the mascot for the Warren Cosno Patriot? Oh, I said it. I said it. I just found out today, graduated from same high school I did.
And I still know the fight song, so there you go.
Yes, sir. Call the roll then,
You
please.
won't have to sing it.
No.
Oh, you have some discussion? Oh, okay. Center line.
Were you a center line guy, or?
So what's the mascot for Centerland?
Oh, my goodness.
There you go, folks.
Let's see, well, hold on, it was, the Waters were Mott, it was, oh boy, I do not know, we didn't play center line.
It doesn't matter. Okay, I'll call the roll, please.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Noel.
Yes.
And Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
And
Thank you. Thank you.
if you'd like to introduce your wife with you.
My wife, Katie, we've been together since high school. We started dating in high school at Cousinwood. Back in '96. Having our 30th anniversary next month.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you, congratulations. Item 7B, dispatch contract renewal.
You have the packet there for another 3 years.
I move to approve the 2021 to 2024 fire dispatch service agreement between the County of Oakland and the Charter Township of Oxford, commencing April 1, 2021, expiring at 11:59 p.m., March 31st, 2024. Authorized Supervisor Jack Curtis to sign the agreement on behalf of the Charter Township of Oxford.
Second.
Moved by Treasurer Ferrari, seconded by Trustee Noel. Are there any questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Noel.
Yes. Moving on, item
Board
8.
members?
Oh. Well, you have more, Pete.
Being as it's been a year and there's been a lot of happenings going on, I would like to introduce my new finance manager, office administrator. Lindsay Young is here to this evening.
Okay.
Thanks, Chief.
She started with us in January, so it's a good chance to meet with the entire board and everything. So
Hey, I think
Thank you.
Rod Charles is the only one I haven't met yet. So.
Welcome, Lindsay.
Thanks.
thank you. And in the back of the room, I'd like to introduce Captain Kurt Becker to everyone, firefighter Richard Borak, and EMT Christine, yes. Christine, thank you.
Good evening. I'm sorry to steal your thunder, Chief. Welcome to all of you. Okay, item 8, Sharp Engineering report.
Good evening, board members. Mr. Charles, it's nice to finally meet you. So I think everybody else knows who I am, Jim Sharp, Sharp Engineering. Just giving a quick update here. Always available to you guys. I'm sure you have my phone number and email, but you can reach out to me anytime. Just some development updates with what's going on in the community here. We have the Manors of Westlake, which is a 75 lot subdivision that's going up here on Dunlap Road. It's the last phase of the Waterstone development. They're beginning to start the grading procedures out there. That'll probably be completed within it'll probably be most of the summer that they'll be out there doing those utilities. The enclaves of Woodbridge which is a 15 unit, it's a duplexes, so there's 30 actual units, so there's 15 buildings, 30 units. That's over by Abbey Ridge Apartments behind the Tim Hortons. They have begun grading over there as well. So that will be ongoing for the next couple months. There is a final site plan that is coming through for the Manitou Hills, it's called. It's a 19 lot condominium project, unit condominium behind, or I guess it connects into the Lakes of Indianwood. And there's a few more development projects that you're going to be seeing come through here, some rezonings and stuff. So there's a lot of development that is happening in Oxford Township. Got the culverts that's going in, and I guess just I don't want to say be prepared, but there's going to be a lot of stuff coming through here. We're going to be coming forward with some new water and sewer projects possibly for your consideration and things. So I'm sure Mr. Curtis probably keeps you all updated, but there is a lot happening here in this community right now. So if there's any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them right now. Otherwise,
Yes, sir. That's right.
Just any update on M24? They had the one lane closing. Is that for the landscaping, tree plantings, that type of stuff?
yeah, that's generally what that's for. The striping was done. I think I mentioned that at the last board meeting that PK Contracting had been out there to do some restriping. But most of those lane closures are for the downtown area. They're doing irrigation between where the trees are going to be located, and then putting the trees in and finalizing the streetscape design. Really, the township portion of it is done. There were a few punch list items that needed to be completed, but Dan's has been in there since the weather broke, and they have completed those. So on a township perspective, it's pretty much done, other than looking at the restoration because the grass hasn't really started growing yet. But that will probably be done by, they're hoping by Memorial Day is kind of the guess in there.
Yes, sir, trustee Charles.
So what's the target date on the water plant? Opening, building, done?
I would think that it would be this fall. Like I say, their schedule had a pre-construction meeting, so they're starting the grading out there. Then they've got a couple weeks of, couple months of utility installation for the water and the sewer. The roads were supposed to be going in around 4th of July or something. And then there'll be some punch list items, testing, things like that to do. So I would think that it would be available, you know, by the end of the, by fall time this year is the goal for them. I'm sure they want to get houses going before the winter, you know, winter months set in. So, yep.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, under unfinished business, item 9A, 2021 hardship exemption guidelines resolution. Treasurer Ferrari?
Hi, board members, myself, trustee Charles, and trustee Payne met with our assessor, Leanne Boucher, and working also with our attorney Hans Rentrop. We revised the poverty guidelines for 2021 to make them in line with what the state requires. And in front of you is a copy of a cleaned up document on what we came up with, and it's ready for approval. I move to approve the resolution adopting policy relative to the review and granting of poverty exemptions by the Oxford Township Board of Review as presented.
I'll second. So it's moved by Treasurer Ferrari, seconded by Supervisor Curtis. Questions? Go ahead. Clerk Wright, please.
Yes, in the exhibit to the resolution, I'll pull this up on the screen here. In section 11, there's references to tax returns right here. In 1040A or 1040E or 1040EZ do no longer exist for the applicant. So we would need to actually amend the exhibit or the resolution to actually bring this up to date. The only federal forms that are allowed now is a 1040 or 1040-SR, and then the Michigan return is just the MI 1040. And I also believe that the homestead property tax credit is just the MI-1040CR, and I don't believe there's a senior citizen homestead property tax credit anymore, but those would be my recommendation to amend your motion to
I'll just clean up number 11.
clean up number 11, yes.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, to get the right language in there, just to have it clarified.
I have a point of order. Do we have to vote on that? Or can we just amend that motion? Okay. So we have two votes, one to amend it. So,
I'll make a motion to amend number 11 to update the federal income tax returns to today's standards.
I have a motion to amend by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Noel to amend. Curtis Wright.
It's my understanding that you'd have to amend the original motion.
And you guys want to start over? It's easier on Zoom.
But doesn't the person who seconded the motion have to support the amendment?
That's what he did. I think. Oh, no, I do.
You did.
Well, I can second the amended
You
motion.
already had a second on the motion.
I'll rescind my. Okay, now I can
You can second his
second
amendment.
the amendment. Okay. I knew there was something that we had to do. All right, so, the motion is to first vote on the amendment. That's what we're gonna call that roll, that motion vote right now. On the amendment? Okay, go ahead.
The amendment, in my opinion, should be something that doesn't specifically mention part of the tax return, but that's the resolution that may change your idea. As long as it's general enough that we're not mentioning specific forms, because as I said, they change every year. Okay.
We could just say federal income tax return, Michigan income tax return, period.
So now I can call the vote.
You can call the vote.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, hearing none. Now we have to call the vote on
The
the
original.
original.
There's your motion.
That was moved by Ferrari, seconded by Curtis. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing none. Motion passes with amendments.
I'll follow through on that, everybody.
Thank you, Joseph. 9B, Gypsy Moth funding. Rod, do you want to take that?
I'll start and then I'll turn it over to Curtis. I've been looking into this, with Curtis and some others for some time, and we had a couple phone calls about the participation, did some research. Found out we have 4 areas of the township that have significant infestation of gypsy moth. Ultimately, the question comes down to how we pay for it, and I'll back up a little bit by saying again, there's a narrow window that you can take care of the gypsy moth. It's done in May, you only have a few days to take care of it. And that leads into the question of how we pay for it. So we talked about this at length, there's a couple options, what to do with this infestation. At that point, then Mr. Wright, you can take it from there about what the conversation was.
Yeah, on this map you see 4 different areas that are different colors. These are the areas that we had a couple of experts in the gypsy moth field do a survey of Oxford Township, and they came back with these areas being the most infested. Based on that map, there's approximately 1,000 acres plus or minus that would need to be sprayed according to their reports that they submitted back to us. We did get a final number of $140 per acre to spray these areas. So based on that, plus or minus math, you're looking at roughly $140,000. Some of the issues that come into play here is that there may be other areas that are infested with gypsy moths that were not analyzed or not reported. So based upon these areas, it's somewhat a thought that we're giving preferential treatment to some areas and some areas that we're not. So it's somewhat of our opinion that maybe this is something we should push off till 2022 with possibly initiating an SAD process, so that this year it would be something that would be borne by the residents, and come this fall we could re-explore it, maybe rehire the people that did the initial survey, see what the damage may be if it even does spread, and then we can proceed on with the next step if we so choose to move on with the gypsy moth spraying. So I don't know if there's any other questions of the board, or any other thoughts, if you have other ideas. We've been at this for about 3 months now, trying to resolve this. This is be like the last chance to get in on the 2022 spraying if we're going to do so, whether it's a partial spray or something in between.
We've done the 4 areas we discussed with the gypsy moth experts. There was such a thing, by the way. They said we'll do the 2 hot spots, but then the issue comes up: how are we using preferential treatment and leaving off other people in the township if the board pays for this 2 areas? So that's maybe a conversation of, well, maybe we're looking at SOD district going forward.
I move that the Charter Township of Oxford will not participate in the 2021 Gypsy Moth Spraying Program through the Macomb County MSU Extension Gypsy Moth Suppression Program. In the future, in order to participate in a gypsy moth spraying program, it will need to be established as a special assessment district.
I'll second it for discussion.
Moved by Treasurer Ferrari, seconded by Trustee Noel for discussion.
I would like to suggest that we search out other resources instead of pigeonholed into SAD. There might be other resources out there, grants and other things, instead of just going with an SAD.
We could do that in conjunction with an SAD, so, such as that. Trustee Charles?
I think John just said, we did look into that, by the way. There was nothing currently out there, but that doesn't mean there might not be next year.
Yeah.
So we did spend some time calling around, checking the areas.
But it sets a good policy in the future on how the board wants to handle this matter. So if somebody comes up to Supervisor Curtis next year, can say, hey, the board's willing to help you, let's start the SAD process, unless you can find outside funding.
You know better than I, that process is a lengthy process.
Correct.
Look right?
Yeah, and plus too, with an SAD, it can be either generated through the township or initiated by resident involvement as well. So that's something that needs to be considered as well, whether we take it on and create the district at the, maybe the residents, the majority of the residents may not want that area sprayed. They're not in favor of an SAD, and we would be making that decision on their behalf, but we would have the ultimate decision for the health of the township.
There's a lot of latitude there.
Any more questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none, we will not be participating in gypsy moth spraying this year. Item C, Sheriff Parking Lot. Engineer Sharp?
Thank you, Supervisor Curtis. Many of you know that we've been in the process of redesigning the parking lot down here. I call it the lower level parking lot. Some people refer to it as the sheriff's parking lot, however you want to look at it though. The current parking lot has 21 spaces, and it becomes very, very compact, very overwhelmed, I guess, as shift changes and so forth during certain times. So it was been redesigned to expand from the 21 current spaces up to 49 spaces. We put this project out for bid. As you see in your packet, we received a total of 8 bids that range from the low bidder of $228,899.75 up to just under $300,000. So you had a good grouping of bids there. And after that, we did the research on the low bidder, who was Allied Construction. They've done many projects in the township. Checked their references, very good contractor. So we are making the recommendation to you to move forward with this and enter into a contract with Allied Construction. There will be a donation, Jack, if you want to maybe explain that a little bit.
Our communications and grants manager did a article on Facebook about Made in Oxford, and CJ, won't mention my name, went out and did an article on carport structures. John Susmore. John felt that for all the police have done for, the sheriff has done for our community, that he would donate a structure covering 21 parking spots?
16.
16 parking spots. No cost to us, added value to the parking lot is about $90,000. The parking lot will be set up for charging stations when electrical vehicles will be here, and 240 in case the command unit has to come out. So we're preparing the structure for the future, but the parking lot will meet our needs for today and 10 years or so out.
I move to award the Oxford Township lower level parking lot project, Allied Construction, the base bid amount of $228,899.75. Final payment will be based on the unit prices submitted on the bid form, final field measurements, and in accordance with the contract documents. Further, Supervisor Jack Curtis is authorized to sign any documents on behalf of the Charter Township of Oxford.
Moved by Treasurer Ferrari, seconded by Trustee Noel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Clerk Wright. Yes.
Motion carries. All right, Jim, thank you. Under new business, a safety path recommendation, item 10A double I. Joe, do you want to take
Yep.
that?
Board members, in the past, we've done summer and winter maintenance on the safety path. The memo's here for you. It's kind of been more of a haphazard program. Nothing was really been set in stone. As we've had more safety paths coming on board, more areas to possibly mow and maintain, the committee feels it's time for the township board to make a decision as to how they want to handle this in the future, to have a formal board policy. Attached is the cover letter along with a possible recommendation. I move that the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees authorize continual summer and winter maintenance for safety path system by the Oxford Township Parks and Recreation Department. For the summer months, the grass along our safety path system will be mowed as needed, and for the winter months, snow removal and salting will only occur in areas leading up to the Oxford Community Schools buildings for our student walkers, Oxford, Lakeville, and Clear Lake Elementary, Oxford Middle School, and Oxford High School as needed.
I'll second that for discussion.
Moved by Treasurer Ferrari, seconded by Trustee Noel. We have a discussion.
I've done some research, read a lot of emails, and there's a liability issue in regards to the township participating in cleaning the safety paths. Adjoining communities have not participated in that due to liability. I think the board needs to consider the liability aspect of it.
That is something to look at.
Trustee Charles?
Other issues, Mr. Ferrari will do in some paths and not others.
That's why the board's got to set a policy. I mean, it's all up to us as to how you want to handle it. I just put it the way for the snow plowing to get the kids to school. If the township wanted to plow everything, that's an option as well.
Any other questions, concerns? Seeing none, I'd like to call this vote, please.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Okay. Clerk Wright, no. Trustee Charles.
No.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Noel.
No.
And Supervisor Curtis.
No. Okay.
That means what we have now, do I just let Parks and Rec know that they do nothing any further?
Personally, I think that from a board standpoint, we should send this back to the Safety Path Committee and review what really needs to be done and who's gonna pay for it. Liability, who's gonna pay for that? If you do touch an open and obvious general snowfall, we need to find out who's gonna do that. So, until it snows, I think we have some time to.
No, the summer months.
The summer months, I would tell them that, no, we're not ready to
Okay.
award you a contract.
I'll let Parks and Rec know.
Thank you, sir. Okay, item 10B, chloride request for additional application. What we found driving around the township, I'll take this one. We found driving around the township, in fact, I think it was the day we took the new assistant chief around in the fire truck. Pete had to get 2 car washes because of the dust that day. We found that we are paying for 4 applications at 27 cents per foot. And the earliest of the applications was going to be in the beginning of May. It's noted that a 5th application could be done for $12,263.13. In front of you tonight, board, is the request for that 5th application to be applied as soon as possible to the roads.
I move to approve an additional application of chloride on all public gravel roads in the Charter Township of Oxford in 2021. Be added to the contract with the Road Commission for Oakland County. Additional application of chloride will be paid 100% by the Charter Township of Oxford, and Supervisor Jack Curtis is directed to inform the Road Commission for Oakland County to add the additional application of chloride to the contract. The cost for the additional application of chloride to be expensed to Road Fund 204-440-969.000 road projects.
Second.
Moved by Treasurer Ferrari, seconded by Trustee Noel. Any questions? Yes, sir, Trustee Charles.
Has there been any discussion that, SAB just,
In the past, we've had participation with many of the homeowners in the community. Some of the roads don't have people living on the frontages, or frontages are greater than what they would do. It was explained to us by the Road Commission of Oakland County experts that chloriding the roads after graveling builds to the longevity of the road. It maintains the road for a longer period of time, not only reducing the dust, but it liquefies the binder and makes it harden up quicker, and it just is better for the road. So in the past, we have had people participate, but it was determined to make the betterment of the roads, we would pay for the road themselves, just as Addison does in other communities. Yes, sir, Trustee Charles.
that part I would agree with. The other part about paying for our work. So that's something that makes more sense.
Okay, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes, and Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Moving on, item 10C, mobile food establishments. License application, permit application, fee schedule, and approval. Mr. Knoll, did you want to take that one, please?
Tonight, we're here to talk about license application, the permit application, the fee schedule. The board had a chance to review that. So I move to approve the mobile food truck establishment annual license application. To be approved, the mobile food truck establishment permit application as presented, and to approve the annual license fee and the permit fee as stated in the April 1, 2021 memorandum from the Township Planner, Zach Michaels. These licenses and permits are to be added to the Clerk's Department fee structure schedule and to the Oxford Township Clerk's Department shall address and apply any applicant for the mobile food truck establishment license or permit. Further, the April 1, 2020 memorandum from the Township Planner, Zach Michaels, is to be included as an attachment to the meeting minutes.
I will second that.
Okay, motion by trustee Noel, seconded by treasurer Ferrari. Are there any questions? Yes, sir, trustee Charles.
So, under the assumption that passes tonight, there's plans to communicate this to the public and those people that are involved in food trucking.
Yes,
You can support.
we have not quantified or qualified those report out to the public. We'll use both social media and any contacts we have with mobile food truck operators that have been in our community. I have a list of about 13 of them on my desk. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes.
Okay, item 10D, 2021 West Nile Virus Program.
Board members, in front of you have the memo of what we'd like to do this year. It is pretty much the same as the last couple of years, having the dunks for our residents, and also providing dunks for our Parks and Rec, to also put into our waterways around the parks. If there's not any further questions, I'll make a motion to Oh, yeah, yep, I missed those 3 zeros in the middle. You got it. To purchase 50 cases of the mosquito dunks 12 by 12 packs for $2,292, include shipping, and 2 cases of the Natural XRT tablets for $1,664.63, include shipping. Total project expenditure is $3,956.63, with $3,820.11 coming from the Oakland County West Nile Virus Prevention Grant. Account number 101-000-072.006 and 13652 coming from the Oxford Township General Fund. Account number 101-299-880.001.
I'll second.
Moved by treasurer Ferrari, seconded by trustee Noel. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
And Trustee Charles.
I move to adopt the resolution authorizing the West Nile Virus Fund expense reimbursement request as presented.
I'll second that too.
Moved by treasurer Ferrari, seconded by trustee Noel. Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Charles. Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. And Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Okay, we had no items removed from the consent agenda. Item number 12, public comment. We have an additional spot for public comment. Any public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on. Item number 13, Board of Trustees comment. My choice, right? Trustee Noel.
Good evening. Well, we've had a trying year for the last 13, 14 months. All of us have had different situations in our immediate family as well as our work environment. It's good to be back. It's nice to have it. Welcome to our new assistant chief. I like the red trucks in the parking lot, just thought I'd tell you that. But thank you.
Treasurer Ferrari?
I'm glad that we did the investment in the parking lot for the sheriff's department. We go through our 2022 budget. We'd like to look at increasing the contribution from $18,000. We put a lot of money into that building, and to charge $18,000 to me is unfair to the general fund taxpayers. They're supplementing police. It wouldn't be that big of an issue if the village didn't have its own police department. So when we get to that part of the budget, we'd like to just take a look at that for 2022.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, trustee Charles.
Nice to see everybody in the person, and, one of the stories, the one thing I appreciate is the Renewal program, just running that.
Clerk Wright?
Yes, just a formal welcome aboard to Matthew for the grueling interview process you went through. I'm sure it was quite intense from what I understand. And just a thank you to the fire department for helping me with a family issue that occurred last month. So I appreciate that very much. With that, Supervisor Curtis, that's all I have.
Okay, the only comments I have is I am researching the speed studies. I know that one on M24 will probably take a resolution to get in front of the M20 or MDOT for studying the speed. The second one on Coates Road, we can lower the speed to 45 as long as we pay for the sign. So I'm putting together some talking points for the next meeting. The people on Coates want to drop to 25, but I don't think that's going to happen. So anyway, we'll have some more to hear on that. Welcome aboard, Assistant Chief, and Katie, thank you for coming. One more question. What's the greatest truck you could ever buy and drive? Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. No, that's the. All right.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion by Treasurer Ferrari, second by Trustee Noel. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, hearing none, meeting adjourned, 7:07.